Tonight's Daily Viewpoint, are drug dealers really murderers? Sounds inflammatory, but think about it. This topic comes up, this is not the first time, but when a celebrity dies of a drug overdose, like the prosecution of Kathy Smith and the death of John Belushi. But if you're not famous, a drug overdose rarely provokes this kind of investigation. A person lies dead, but who is at fault? And obviously all eyes are on the aftermath of Philip Seymour Hoffman, because who sold him the heroin, which we've all read was, what, 30, 40, 50 bags in his apartment at the time of his death.
I think what bothers me about this issue is that, yes, because he's a celebrity, suddenly we're looking at drug dealers as murderers. We're looking at the heroin issue. Why don't we look at it every other time? Why does someone famous have to die with a needle in his arm to get this kind of attention? When it pertains to drug dealers, well, in a way, yeah, they may cause a murder, but they're not exactly causing the direct murder. So I think that is stretching it a bit.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a, you know, you're responsible for what you do with a substance. This is
right,
a banned
selling
illegal substance, right? John, what do you think about this?
Well, it's easy to put someone like Hoffman as a victim, but the people that sell drugs, many of them are victims too, because they're all slaves to the physical addiction of the drug. A lot of the pushers push it so they can get their fix. So it's a tragedy all across the board.
I think it'll be very hard to prosecute the 3 people they have right now unless they can directly link that they allegedly sold these drugs to
yeah, it's a stretch. I mean,
Star.
People overdose on prescription drugs. So could you apply the same link to the people who provided the prescription drugs? They were overdosed. People who sell handguns. You know, it's the misuse of these items that leads to the demise of someone like Philip Seymour Hoffman or anybody who has a heroin addiction.
It's a tough case to prove.
Yeah. But, you know, I think there's another point here, too, and you touched on it, Rebecca. We in the media, some in the media, hyper-focus on individual cases to the detriment of the broader issue. Case in point, JonBenet Ramsey. Totally different subject matter, but she disappears, missing child, and there's huge, we all remember that kind of media coverage over that case. Well, think about how many other children disappear on almost a daily basis in communities all over the country. Never a word, never a mention in the media, because they're not as attractive, they don't come from affluent families, or the wrong side of the tracks.
And right, I mean, and then when you look at an issue, drug overdose, when I look at it as a person of color, I look at it, okay, the white people, they die, they are kidnapped, boom, we are there. But when it comes to someone of color, usually it takes time. I mean, even when local news, when I was across the street, I remember certain cases we'd cover, but if it was a person of color, it was like, maybe not.
But you know, color aside, we want to boil it down into heroes and villains.
Right.
And it's not heroes and villains. We're all villains in a way, and we're all victims in a way. But you cannot just boil it down to that. It's too complex, and too many people are affected across the board.
There was a time, John, I know you can speak to, well, all of us can speak to this. There was a time when newsrooms, smart, effective newsrooms, would take a news headline like this and use it to unearth the bigger issue. And let's talk about heroin addiction all across North Texas, for instance. But we just don't see that kind of hard-nosed journalism happening. Well,
locally, I've been watching, I mean, I do watch a lot of local news. I've seen some of the channels do a nice job in trying to dig deeper within our community when it pertains to heroin addiction.
Because of the Hoffman
because of this.
death.
And then, but each newsroom is different.
Right.
I mean, we've worked in different newsrooms. Each manager has his idea, his vision. So it's really which channel you're watching.
Right.
I mean, I could name the channels that I watch, and I've seen some fantastic coverage, and others where I thought, wow, you really missed the point.
Right.
And I say to viewers out there, make sure you write in, that you speak up, that you say something, because I think if it wasn't for the viewers, I mean, you need ratings. And so you viewers, you have to write in and say, this is what I want, and I want it now.
Yeah, yeah. You make your preference known.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Even here. Even on this show.
Yeah.
They should write into us.
You'll write them back, right?
You can tweet me at Rebecca Aguilar. I'll answer you. I'm not afraid to answer.
That's right. We say it on every program. You can send us a post on Facebook. You can tweet us. You can send us an email, and we will respond. So coming up next on the Texas Daily, a look back on one iconic performance that changed music and TV forever. We're coming right back with that.